Hello students, I am Varun Bhatia from Panoramic Education. We are going to talk about the paper BCR, Business Correspondence and Reporting. Now when we talk about this paper, we have two grammar topics, that is active passive and direct indirect, and we are going to revise these two topics today. Now in this particular revision video, you are going to find rules along with practice questions of these two topics that are displayed here. So let's start with active and passive voice, a very important topic. You are going to get single sentences in the exam. For example, they may ask change from active to passive or passive to active. It could be either of these two. So let's see, when we talk about active passive voice, the first and foremost thing is the verb. That is where most of the students make mistakes. Verb, how you are going to change it. Now, when we talk about active passive voice, the object becomes subject and subject becomes object. But what about the verb? That is where mistakes usually happen. So, when we talk about this, when we talk about simple present tense, let's say for example, if the verb is given give, gave, will given, what are you going to do? Now, in all these cases, when we change to passive voice, we have to use third form of verb. That is the first and foremost thing you have to remember. Third form of verb, whatever verb is given. Sing. So when it comes to passive voice, we are going to use sung. Sing, sang, sung. That is what we are going to do. Sing, sang, sung. Sung is the third form of verb. So if write is given, in passive voice, we are going to use written. So here if you see example, in passive voice, everywhere it's written given. So like if give is given, that is simple present tense, is are given, we are going to use is are given. Gave, was were given. Will give, will be given. Now note, instead of will, if any other modal verb is given, shall, should, may, might, can, could, it is going to remain the same. Can give, can be given. Will give, will be given. Shall give, shall be given. Now can is not going to change into could. That happens in direct and indirect speech, not here. When it comes to present continuous, now since it is continuous, we are going to use being. Is are being given. So easy to guess. Next one will be was, were, being given. Was, were, being given. And will be being given. Future continuous is rarely used. It's not used very often. Then when it comes to present perfect, we have has, have given will change to has, have been given. Now here we are going to use been, B-E-E-N. In continuous, it was being, B-E-I-N-G. Had given, had been given. Will have given, will have been given. Now you can see here, I play cricket, cricket is played by me, cricket, that is the object becomes the subject and the subject becomes the object. So play changes to is played. That is what we saw in that table right now. That table is extremely important. 70 to 80% of this particular topic is dependent on that particular table. Played, was played, will play, will be played. I will play cricket, cricket will be played by me. Fine. Then I am playing cricket, cricket is being played by me. Now playing is used. So when it comes to playing, ing, so we are going to use being. Was playing, was being played. Now those were assertive sentences. What about imperative sentences? Imperative sentences start with a verb. If you see the example here, order and command. Read that book. Now in this particular sentence, that book is an object. In imperative sentence, when there is an object comes first and we start with let. Let that book be read. Be read. Third form of verb, read, read, read. Let that book be read. Now this can also be changed in another way. You are commanded to read that book. You are told to read that book. You are ordered to read that book. Can be changed in this way as well. But we are going to use let only when there is an object. There are certain sentences, imperative sentences, where you won't find an object. In that case, starting with let won't be possible. We'll look into those examples. Request. Please read that book. You are requested to read that book. Please, you are requested to read that book. Then we have advice. Now here this can be changed in two ways. That book should be read by you. This is like changing an assertive sentence. This can also be changed. You are advised to read that book. And then it comes to interrogative sentences. We have to be very careful when it comes to interrogative sentences. The good part is, in your exam, in your paper, simple single sentences will be asked. Change from active to passive or passive to active. Passive to active can also be asked. Now here, do you know that guy? If you analyze this sentence, do is simple present tense. Give becomes is, am, are given. So do know means know. Know changes to is, am, are known. So is that guy known to you? Now know is such a verb. Along with that verb, you use to and not by. These are certain exceptions. Generally we use by when we change it to passive voice, but not here. Is that guy known to you? Did is past tense. So was that guy known to you? Who gave you the book? Gave is past tense again. Who changes to by whom? You have to remember that who changes to by whom. By whom the book was given to you. What are you doing? Are doing, that is present continuous. Are doing changes to is, am, are being done. How am I going to get to know about this? From the table that we looked into it in the starting. That table becomes extremely important here. What are you doing? What is being done by you? So let's look at certain practice questions and we'll see how it changes, how it has been changed. So first is, we expect good news. It is very, very important here to understand what is the subject and what is the object here. We is the subject, good news object, expect is simple present tense. So good news is expected by us. Do you need a uniform? Now while you look at these recording, you can even do it yourself. You can pause the recording, think about the answer of this question or the questions that are going to come subsequently, and you can answer it yourself and then look at the answer that is being told here. Do you need a uniform? Is a uniform needed by you? Is a uniform needed by you? Simple present tense. Did you celebrate your birthday? Was your birthday celebrated by you? A song was sung by her. A song was sung by her. A song, that is the object that comes in the starting. She is the subject that goes back. Sang changes to was sung. Who will do it? No, it is the object. By whom? Now usually a mistake that happens here is by whom it will be done. Students usually write this, but here we have to make sure verb comes first. Who will do it? By whom will it be done? Not it will. Will it be done? Now in this paper, when your papers will be checked, there is no question about getting half mark. Either it is right or wrong. So if you write by whom it will be done, no marks will be given. A new factory will be set up by me. A new factory will be set up by me. Now the question here is, why is Rupali taking medicine? Why is medicine being taken by Rupali? I am writing a poem. A poem is being written by me. Now here past continuous. New furniture was being bought. Third form of by is bought. New furniture was being bought by Deepthi. Now instead of bought, if you write brought here, that will be wrong. Brought is the third form of verb of bring. So in that case, no marks will be given. Why were they blocking the road? Again, past continuous, but in question form. Why was the road being blocked by them? Why was the road being blocked by them? Now, this is an imperative sentence. Now, we talked earlier, when it comes to imperative sentence, if there is an object, you can start with let. Here, the object is it. Let it be carried home. Let it be carried home. It is an object, so let it and carry, third form of verb carried. You're going to add be, let it be carried home. This can also be changed in another way, that is, you are told to carry it home. Now, in this particular imperative sentence, which is an advice, you're not going to find object here. There is no object. Hard is not an object. You cannot start this sentence with let. You are advised. Now, advised, use S. You are advised, because advice is a verb and advice is a noun. So, past tense, we convert past tense of a verb and not a noun. So, advised, you are advised to work hard. Get out. Now, here also there is no object. You are told, you are ordered to get out. And this one is future perfect tense. Will have prepared changes to will have been prepared. We already talked about this in the starting of this video. There is a table and you're going to get to know about all these things from that particular table. The dinner will have been prepared by her. Now, this was all about active and passive voice. There are certain basic rules. You have to be clear about the rules. When it comes to active passive voice, again, let me tell you that table is extremely important. Most of the students make mistakes when it comes to verb. Verb is a problematic thing here and not anything else. Changing the sentence, now making the object subject and subject object, that is easy. Verb is the problem. So make sure you focus more on the table, spend half an hour on that table, make sure you are thorough with the table and then start practicing. This is how you are going to crack this particular topic. 3 to 4 marks for this topic, depends. Sometimes it has been asked for 2 marks, sometimes for 3 or 4. Same goes with direct indirect. So we have another topic, direct and indirect speech. Make sure you are not confused between these two topics. They are totally different topics. Now, when it comes to direct and indirect speech, again, simple single sentences will be asked, change from direct speech to indirect speech, for which we are going to look into certain things. When we change from direct to indirect, 3 things we are going to change. That is pronoun, tense and time. Now, when it comes to pronoun, we change I, we, me, us, you. How are we going to change this? Now, I changes to not a particular answer, because depends who has said that sentence. If the sentence has been said by he, I will change to he. If the sentence has been said by I will remain I. For example, I said, I am not free today. I said that I was not free that day. If the sentence has been said by she, I will change to she. So, I, we, me, us, you will depend on who said to whom. Then we change tense and we change time as well. Go changes to went, went to had gone, has and have to had. There is more to it. There are certain other verbs that are going to change. We look into practice questions as well. Now, when we talk about time, today changes to that day, yesterday, the previous day or the day before, last week, the previous week, and so on. If you look at this particular table here, this gives us an idea about how things are going to change when it comes to direct and indirect speech. This changes to that, these to those, here to there, tomorrow, the next day, the following day, last night, the previous night, or the night before, the day after tomorrow, in 2 days' time, today, that day, tonight, that night. So this is a list of how you're going to change time. Now let's see few practice questions. Again, for this particular topic, you have to spend some time understanding the rules. Once you understand the rules, practice is going to bring you on the top. Practice is what is required. And when we talk about this particular topic, single sentences will be asked 2 to 4 marks. Sometimes it has been asked for 2 marks, sometimes 3, 4 or 5, depends. So let's see. Hari said, I am reading my lessons now. Now here, said will not change to told because it has not been said to someone. When said is followed by an object, in that case, said is changed to told. So here, Hari said that he was reading his lessons then. Now changes to then. I and my will change depending who has said the sentence. So here, Hari, I, he, my, his. Gopal said that, again, said is not going to change into told. Gopal said that he had already posted the letter. This topic is entirely different from active passive voice. Now, since we have an object here, after said, it has been said to someone. So, he told me, this is going to change into told. He told me that, oh, you have to be very sure about this. Reading the full sentence is very important. This is a question. So, you have to use asked. And when it comes to such questions, there are two types, yes no question and WH question. Now this is a yes no question. So take 30 seconds to analyze that. The question is, have you done all the sums? This is a yes no question. Now if you ask someone, have you done all the sums? The other person is going to say yes or no. So in this case, add if or whether. Again, note that you are not going to use that when it comes to interrogative sentences. Now, this is an interrogative sentence. Don't use that. In that case, 1 mark will be cut. The moment you put that, 1 mark will be cut. He asked me if I had done all the sums. And at the end, you're going to put full stop and not question mark. Because an interrogative sentence changes to an assertive sentence. He asked me if I had done all the sums. Again, we have one more interrogative sentence. The teacher said to her. Now, said is going to change to asked because this is an interrogative sentence. The teacher asked her if or whether, WHETHER. The teacher asked her whether her father worked in a bank. Now, take a note that do and does in case of interrogative sentence, positive interrogative sentence. Now, what is positive interrogative sentence? This sentence does not have a negative word, no, not, nothing. In that case, you are going to eliminate do and does. And the verb given changes to past tense. So here, the teacher asked her if her father worked in a bank. Her father worked in a bank. You are not going to change does to did. That is not going to happen. Now, what if the sentence starts with did? Is this sentence have the same rule as this one? Let's see. Now, here you are not going to eliminate did. The doctor asks the patient, if, since this is a yes no question, if he had slept well the previous night. Past changes to past perfect. Simple past to past perfect. Did sleep is simple past. So the doctor asks the patient Now patient is a neutral gender. So in that case, you can be changed to he or she as well. The doctor asks the patient if he had slept well the previous night or she had slept well the previous night. You is a pronoun that is going to change. Last night time, that is also going to change. Now, the manager said to me, let's look at this question. The manager said to me, do you know French? You remember, do is going to eliminate. We are not going to change do to did. The manager asked me, now this is a yes no question. So we have to use if or whether. The manager asked me if I knew French. You here is me. So you will change to I. The manager asked me if I knew French. This one. This is not a yes no question. What is the time? This is not a yes no question. So in that case, you're not going to put if or whether. Also, when it comes to interrogative sentences, that is not used. Now, when we are very fast and we don't take time to focus on the sentence and we don't read the sentence properly, generally students write, the worker asks that, and then they change. So take time, maybe 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 45 seconds, focus on the sentence, the type of sentence that has been asked. The worker asked what the time was. Now, one particular mistake that students usually do here is they write what was the time. This is incorrect because when we change interrogative into assertive, subject comes first. So the worker asked what the time was. The time is the subject that will come before the verb. The worker asked what the time was. The teacher asked me, where were you? Good question. It's not a yes no question. This will change. The teacher asked me, you're not going to use if or whether. This is not a yes no question. The teacher asked me where I had been. Were, simple past, that changes to past perfect. Where I had been. This is an imperative sentence. Now in imperative sentence also, that is not used. The servant requested, please is given. So requested. The servant requested the master to give him a loan of 100 rupees. Just use to. The servant requested his master to give him a loan of 100 rupees. Now this is imperative sentence but negative form. The doctor said to the patient, don't take heavy diet for a week. That's the question. So this is an advice. Advice, A-D-V-I-S-E. The doctor advised the patient not to take a heavy diet for a week. Not to. Now in imperative sentence, if it is not a negative, it's not a negative sentence. In that case, we put to. But when it's a negative sentence, when don't is used, we put not to. The doctor advised the patient not to take a heavy diet for a week. The last thing, that is exclamatory. Now we are left with two sentences here, both exclamatory sentence. The last thing that we are going to look into, the child said, how wonderful the toy is. There's a trick here. Usually, interrogative sentence, when interrogative sentence starts with how, we also start, we change interrogative sentence into indirect speech and we start with how. But that is not the case here, because this is an exclamatory sentence. So first change exclamatory sentence into a normal statement and make it a past tense. Like how wonderful the toy is. Normal statement will be the toy is wonderful. In past tense, the toy was wonderful. So this will change to the child exclaimed that the toy was wonderful. Here you are going to use that. So that is used with assertive sentence exclamatory sentence, but not with interrogative and imperative sentence. The child exclaimed that the toy was wonderful. Last sentence that we have today. You might feel that this is an incomplete sentence. What a show! Usually we say, we can exclaim, what a show! How messy! What a mess! In the previous slide, we talked about this. How? When it comes to interrogative sentences, how remains how. What remains what, but not in case of exclamatory sentence. Now, this normal statement will be, what a show it is. It is by default, not given here. What a show it is. So, the audience exclaimed that it was a wonderful show. We have to add wonderful because that has been the emotion. It has been said with such emotion. What a wonderful show it is. So, the audience exclaimed that it was a wonderful show. So, in both these topics, students, active, passive and direct, indirect, we looked into few sentences along with the rules. The most important thing, first of all, is to know the rules and then practice. In that case, we are easily going to crack this. It's not a very difficult topic and scoring as well. Now, when we combine both these grammar topics can come for around 5 to 8 marks. 5 to 8 marks, very important. And 5 to 8 marks can easily be pocketed if we are thorough with it and we practice thoroughly. Fine. So that's it for today, students. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time in another video.